We were the second art major group here. There was one just before us. And I remember sitting back there with Harvey Lindstrom, and Hal would come in with this big basket, waste paper basket. He'd put it up on a table and he would say, okay, now draw it. Right? And then he'd walk around, he would talk to us about what we were drawing and about ourselves and everything. It was just a wonderful thing. He had two things. Learn how to see. You had to learn how to see everything. And then, after you see it, you have to see how it relates to something else. Relationships was his whole, that was everything, that was his art. He'd come to my house and he'd look at that and say, oh, that looks good with that. You know, this should be hanging over there. Did you see the color over here and over here? So it was just an amazing man. And just a sweet, sweet friend. I mean, he loved everybody. He loved all of you guys, I know that. And it was just so nice to be around him. He was frustrating once in a while, okay, because you would try to give him a little bit of advice, and he would just look at you. And I was a little uncomfortable about giving him advice because he was older than me. But I felt that he needed something. Anyway, this one is from your aunt.
Oh.
You aware of that?
Yeah.
This is Janet, Hal's sister. And she says, my brother Hal Lemmerman was a kind and generous man with a passion for all things artistic and beautiful, many of which he created and treasured, and many lifelong friendships that nourished him. As children, we shared wonderful times, often inventing absurd situations to giggle about. Our mother often told us, while we three rode the Cleveland streetcars together, I'm going to pretend I don't know you. As she sat several rows beyond us, we tried to be sedate, but always became boisterous and giggling. I never heard Hal giggle. Life for Hal was always, we lived in high spirits and great passions. In his last years, his perseverance to keep painting, even though he was ill, was truly remarkable, admirable. He leaves a big hole in my world, and the memory of my brother will live in my heart forever. I wrote this poem when I was 7, and Hal was 4. I have a little brother. He is so sweet to me. I love to play with Buddy. He's as cute as he can be. But when he starts growing, he'll grow too fast, I know, and I'll hate to see my little Buddy go. And when he's a grown-up man, I'll love him even more, but I'll still remember Buddy when he was only 4. That's good. And then Herb Rosenberg, who couldn't be here, but he's talking to Hal. Dear Hal, I can't be with you today because I'm reading a paper in Denver. But you know, I have been meaning to tell you how important you've been in my life for the past almost 40 years. The magnificence of your humanity and generosity has been infectious. An infectious disease for which no one has discovered an antidote. Countless people, from presidents to freshmen, have been touched by your unabashedly deep, genuine, and very personal support, which seems to pour from you with such ease. You've definitively established the art department as a community of sensitive, creative, arms-embracing young people, wandering around an embryo of an art department, mentoring a discordant new faculty into working out the kinks of how they be creative teachers while effectively holding on to their own careers. Kirby hangs in my office, and your cucumbers will forever embrace him. I love my friend, Kirby. That's that. And you know we'll all miss him when he's in our hearts. And I was just talking with Elaine, and he's here, and we believe that. And I don't know how many people believe that kind of thing. But one of the last things he's doing is bringing us all together, and we just enjoy seeing all of us. And this is just wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there's a book I write about, an encyclopedia.
Excellent. Please do.
But to get to Michael's comment about, you didn't see him laugh too much. And there are people here who remember him from the A. Harry War King and James It showed us the beauty of life and that you can give and not expect anything in return. And 14 years So I remember I invented a place for Hal. I called it Zyron. As you know, you could say something to Hal, and you know it's being processed because he's got 8,000 things to do. He's got some paintings to do. He's got some everything. You know. So one time I told a joke at Highbridge. I said to Hal, I have this funny joke. And then I told him the joke, and the joke was basically there's an eagle flying into I have to use one expletive, so just forgive me.
Go for it.
And it's hungry, and it sees a mouse, and this is Hal's favorite joke that I ever told. And he sees a little mouse, and he grabs the mouse, and he tosses it up in the air, and he swallows it, and the eagle takes up into the sky. And the mouse is still alive, and it finds its way to the eagle's tushy. So they're way up in the sky, and the mouse says, "Hey, eagle, how high are we?" And the eagle looks down and says, "Well, we're about a mile up." He says, "You wouldn't ship me, would you?" So, I don't know. For some reason, he loved that joke. It's a favorite joke. Oh, well, but it's hybrid. So Hal, I told him this joke, not this one, but another joke. And Hal says, "I have to go to Jersey City because, as you know, we used to take that green, ugly green van. Right? Some people know these memories, you know. And then he went to Jersey City, and he came back and was sitting down for dinner, and he started laughing. I said, "What are you laughing at?" He says, "The joke you told me this morning." So I know you appreciate that, you know, but he did it. And of course, I remember Darryl from camp and the A. Harry Moore camp, and it really was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I had what Maslow calls a peak experience. And thanks to Hal, I had that peak experience where it was all emotional, and I felt that he was doing something for the world at that point, and he did for me. So, Hal, bye-bye.
Great.
Thank you, Noel.
We'll see you in
Thank you,
Greece.
Noel. Good job.
Thank you, Noel.
I got to get my wine because now I can drink it.
Anybody else like to say a few words? Great. Please.
I have some comments. My name's Bob and my wife Sherry. We would go up to Arlington to take care of Hal's dogs. And they known the two dogs,
Sambuca?
and Brandy. And obviously those names came from two of Hal's favorite drinks, I guess. But I forget how he first contacted us to babysit for his dogs. And I asked Sherry, I said, "What do you think?" "Yeah, let's go. We'll go up there." We had never been to the station before, and we didn't know what to expect. And we went up there and found his place. It was sort of up this winding road. When we got to the train tracks, we knew we were near the place. And there are like this huge building, and Hal lives here, and we go in there. And any of you that are familiar with this station, you know that there's one end that's got this huge vaulting ceiling. It's taller than this ceiling, I think. It's just a huge, huge room, and we were just blown away by this thing. And he gave us the full tour, but we had wonderful years there. I think we went every summer almost for, I'm thinking 10 years. It was like an automatic thing. We went up there and took care of the dogs, and I remember I would let the dogs out into the yard on the side of the station there to do their business, and he'd have a couple of these balls in the yard over there, and I'd pick them up and threw the ball. And of course, the dogs were so lethargic from sitting around the house that they could barely run after the ball. But after the 2 weeks that we were there, or 10 days, 2 weeks, they got into pretty good shape. And I remember this one time we were back home in Jersey City. We got a phone call from Harry. He said, "What do you do? What do you do? Every time I take the dogs out to the back, they got this ball. They want to play." We had wonderful, wonderful summers up there. Thanks to Hal. He was a great teacher too. I remember taking his puppetry and theater design class here at the university, and my first introduction to what it takes to become an actor was an exercise we did in class where you were paired with another student, and we would be in front of the class like this, and we'd have somebody paired with us, and we would have to carry on a conversation using one word, like no. So I would say no, and you would say no. And it was just so thrilling to look at that stuff and realize how difficult it is to become an actor and do those things